Hello and welcome to the Airline Consolidator class. In this particular class we'll be talking about airlines and airline consolidators. Types of airline trips. First type is a one-way. This goes from point A to point B. This particular flight travels from Sacramento to San Diego. Each city and airport in the world has a three-letter code. Some of them take the first three letters of the city name. In the training manual, in the air section, there is a list of the major domestic cities with their airport codes. Also, most airline internet sites will have an airport decoder where you can put the name of the city in and you can receive the three-letter code. Second kind of flight is a round trip. This goes from point A to point B and back again. This particular flight goes from Phoenix to Omaha and return. A circle trip, Boston to Charlotte to Miami and back to Boston. You can spend 2, 3, 4 days, even a week at your intermediate point, which would be Charlotte. And finally, an open jaw. This particular flight goes from Seattle to Denver. Then you travel by surface, Colorado Springs, back to Seattle. Service can be by train, by bus, or by car. Open jaws are actually a good deal when you buy an airline ticket. The airline calculates half of each round trip ticket and adds them together. Now, an open jaw only works for the two destination points are less than 500 miles apart. For example, you wouldn't be able to receive an open jaw if you flew from Seattle to New York and then Miami back to Seattle. You'd have to buy two one-way tickets. Tourist air passes are a good deal if you're going to spend a certain amount of time in an area or destination in the world, and you're going to do more than 3 or 4 flights. For example, there's an Aussie air pass in Australia. You're going to do more than 3 or 4 flights in that particular continent. There's also a Caribbean air pass and also one in Mexico. Again, most areas in the world do have low-cost airlines now, and I will be showing you a website later which will show you some of these. So only if you're doing a lot of flights in a certain area are these tourist air passes probably good for you. Airline flights. A non-stop flight. This particular flight, American 261, goes from Orlando to Austin with no stops. A direct flight may have 1, 2, or 3 stops. For example, American Airlines Flight 262 goes from Reno to Los Angeles and has 1 stop. A direct flight means you can get off the plane, stretch your legs, get back on, but you don't actually physically have to change planes. Southwest does have a lot of flights. Does have a lot of direct flights that may have 1, 2, or 3 stops. And finally, a connecting flight. There's 2 flight numbers. American 5631 connecting to 378. This particular flight goes from Portland, Oregon, Chicago O'Hare, and you actually change planes in San Francisco. Airline carriers. An international or major airline will have international flights and some domestic flights as well. For example, Delta, American, United are international or major airlines. Also British Airways, Qantas, they don't have domestic, but most of their flights are going to be international. Air France is another example of an international or major airline. A domestic or national airline. Most of the flights will be inside the continental United States. For example, Southwest, JetBlue, Spirit. They may have 1 or 2 flights outside the United States to the Caribbean or Mexico, but most of their flights are going to be inside. And finally, a regional or commuter airline. A regional or commuter airline is usually connected to a major airline. For example, American Eagle is connected to American. Comair is connected to Delta. They now use these small jets most of the time, these 80-seat jets, which are more comfortable than the old prop planes that they were using. A charter airline, an example of a charter airline would be American Transair. They may have a limited domestic schedule, but most of the time they're going to be chartering their planes out to tour operators, Pleasant Holidays, Apple Vacations, charter their planes from American Transair to travel to Hawaii and to Mexico. Ticket pricing. We don't give IATA number or clear number to the airlines, as airlines don't pay commission to travel agents anymore. Places to look for the best prices, obviously airline websites, internet generic websites, and also you're more than welcome to call a Tickets and Tours in-house agent. We'll be more than happy to help you with airline tickets. Again, you can call Pulaski or you can call the office in Concord, and they'll be able to help you with airline ticket pricing. Again, commissions, we don't get any on scheduled airlines. We do get tickets on Consolidator fares. Again, we'll go into that later on. Consolidator fares are net. We add our own commission on top. for international tickets. Cruise line. Again, you're not going to get the total commission that you would for the tour or the cruise, which could be 15 or 16%. Usually, 5 or 6% is the most you're going to receive on airline tickets purchased through a tour company or a cruise line. But they do tend to be more expensive, so be aware of that. Special policies. Children under the age of 2 on domestic flights travel free. On international flights, they usually pay 10% of the fare. Children over the age of 2 on domestic flights pay the same price as an adult. On international flights, they either receive 25, 33, or 50% reduction on the fare. Unaccompanied children. Again, if it's a direct flight, an unaccompanied minor will be accepted, usually for no charge. You release your child to the airline at the gate, signing the forms, and then the child will only be released to a person at the other end showing proper photo ID and be able to sign the receiving form. On connecting flights, some airlines still accept children as unaccompanied minors. Again, they do charge a fee for this, sometimes $70 to $80 each way. Pets. Again, you are allowed to take your pet in the cabin or in the cargo, but there are restrictions. For example, airlines will only allow one pet in each cabin, one in coach, one in first class. You do have to call the airline in advance. The pet has to be able to fit in an airline-approved container. It will fit underneath the seat. So you're talking about a small dog or a small cat. And they have to be able to stand up and move around. Also, the animal does have to have recent vaccinations and a health certificate from a vet. Airlines will also accept pets in the cargo. Again, certain times of the year, this is not allowed when it's too hot or too cold. So you need to definitely call the airline in advance if you're planning taking a pet on the plane, because they have to make reservations. And also you have to check if it's even. Oversold flights. Airlines will compensate you for oversold flights. A lot of airlines do oversell their flights. They will either give you a monetary value, a voucher towards future travel, plus pay for your one-way ticket. If a flight is delayed due to a fault not of the airline, for example weather, then the airline will not compensate you. They will obviously try their utmost to get you on the next scheduled flight, but they do not have to. You're not entitled to compensation if it's not the fault of the airline. Airlines are now charging for overweight bags. This has come into effect recently. And again, this chart, you do need to check with the airline you're traveling on if you're planning on taking a bag that's over 50 pounds. Again, you are allowed 2 bags, but if they are overweight, you do need to check with the airline you're traveling on to make sure to find out what the excess baggage charge is. And again, international flights are different, so please do check with the airline involved. Airline ticketing. Fares are not guaranteed until ticketed. Basically what that means, airlines will hold reservations, or some airlines will hold reservations for 24 hours. But the price can go up 3 or 4 times in a day. I've seen it happen. So if you do see a price that you think is good, I suggest you actually purchase the ticket. You're always welcome to call us in Pulaski, and we can check the fare out for you to make sure it is a good fare. Or maybe we would even be able to find you a lower fare. So, please check with us before you buy the ticket and tell you if it's a good buy. Some air passengers may qualify for discounts, obviously children in some cases. Seniors on a few airlines still receive a discount. Again, most airlines do not give senior citizen discounts anymore. Frequent flyer tickets are at the discretion of the airline. These do have to be booked through the airline directly. Airlines bring their schedules out about 330 days in advance. So if you know where you want to go next summer, for example, and you have frequent flyer mileage, I suggest you book them, maybe 2, 3, or 4 seats on a flight that they actually give away as frequent flyer seats. So you do need to call as soon as possible. Some airlines, there are a few airlines that only bring their schedules out 6 months in advance. Again, an example of that will be Southwest. You can actually book frequent flyer seats on the internet now through the airline's website. You don't have to hold on the phone anymore. A lot of airlines now have their frequent flyer programs available online. The best fares are non-refundable, but there are definitely fees for changes and cancellations, and you do need to make sure that you know these when you make the reservation. And again, purchasing tickets through tour companies and cruise lines, you do have more protection against changes. Airlines do change their schedules, and the tour company and cruise line will have a schedule to best coincide with the departure of the tour or the cruise. And they are commissionable. Again, you don't get the full commission of the tour of the cruise, maybe only 5 or 6%. But again, as I said before, they are sometimes a lot more expensive. Air insurance is another good idea. This particular company is Travel Guard. We have a link on our website to this. Again, it covers you for the cancellation charges if you're sick for any reason. And it's quite reasonable. I think it starts at about $15 and it goes up with the cost of the airline ticket. The more expensive the ticket, the more expensive the insurance. Some good websites to check out: seat assignments, airtimetable.com, and also seatguru.com. If you know the airline and the type of plane that you're traveling on, especially internationally, these particular websites will tell you the best seats to sit on that particular aircraft. Bulkhead and emergency exit seats usually have the most legroom, but you'll find that most airlines don't pre-assign those seats. They only have them for assignment at the airport, so it's always best to get to the airport as early as you can if you require those seats or if you want to get those seats. A lot of the time, if you're a frequent flyer, either a platinum, gold, or elite frequent flyer with a particular airline, then you can get those seats pre-assigned. Security. With security nowadays, names on documents must match ID. Exactly. No nicknames, no misspellings. Be prepared to have any luggage searched, especially shoes. You have to take your shoes off now, put them in those baskets. Any metal items. If you have a laptop, you need to turn it on to make sure it's actually working in a real laptop. Always carry important items with you, such as glasses, prescriptions, ID, money, etc. Do not pack them in your bags. Put identification tags in your luggage as well as on your luggage. With security, again, nowadays, you're not allowed to lock your bag. If you do lock your bag, and the TSA, Transport Security Administration, does not have the combination or the key to open your lock, they'll break it open if they have to search it. You can get TSA-approved locks from most major stores. Put this on your bag, they can open it, and then lock it again for you. These can be purchased. And international travels, keep a copy of your passport front page in another location in case for some reason your passport gets lost or stolen. Then if you have a copy of your passport relevant pages, then you can take them to the American Embassy in the country that you're in, and it will expedite the processing of a new passport. U.S. and international airport city codes. As I said before, these are three-letter codes. Major domestic airports are listed in the air section of your training manual. Some codes are derived from military bases. And then international departure cities do have more than one airport. London, for example, has 4. Be careful to check airport locations for discounted airlines in Europe. A lot of these smaller discounted airlines will fly into the smaller airports. So definitely check how far it will be from your destination city. Ending savings may occur when choosing alternate departure or arrival cities as well. Very important. And again, as I said before, the international IATA airport codes can be found on most internet airline sites. Most of them have a decoder where you can put the city name in. It will give you the 3-letter code. Airline meals. Generally under 5 hours, you only get complimentary snacks, either peanuts or pretzels. You may want to bring a snack with you. You may not have enough time between connecting flights to eat. Airlines will sell meals, but they are very expensive. $8 or $9 for a sandwich. I guess so. Again, you may want to bring your own food. Over 5 hours or international flights will usually serve meals. Again, if you're on an international flight over 11 or 12 hours, you may get 2 or even 3 meals. Special meals are available up to 24 hours prior to the flight. For example, vegetarian meals, low-calorie meals, low-cholesterol meals, diabetic meals. These are usually no charge, but you do have to call the airline in advance in order to order these. And again, selection and availability may vary with airlines. And an excellent website if you want to see photos and reviews of airline meals is www.airlinemeals.net. Hundreds of airlines are listed on that particular website. Very interesting. The airline internet directory. Do not use our IATA number when booking. As I said before, we don't get paid commission. In fact, airlines are now charging you to make a reservation over the phone between $5 and $10. If you actually call, they are actually charging between $5 and $10 per reservation, because they're encouraging you to book on the internet. And again, airline websites may have lower fares than calling the toll-free number. Most of the time they do. But they are encouraging you to go on the internet to make your flight reservation. And for more listings, again, check www.airtimetable.com. Again,